Good afternoon, everybody. Okay, now we are actually, this month is Vesak month. Traditionally, we celebrate the Vesak month, Vesak, on the full moon day. Generally, according to Buddhist culture, Buddhist tradition, we must celebrate the Vesak for full month. So today I think 6 or 7 of the Vesak day. So please everybody try to practice of Dharma, try to learn Dharma, and also try to do good thing for others and good thing for yourself. So when we celebrate Vesak day, most time we celebrate because this is kind of our culture. So it is not the right way to celebrate Vesak day. We must think this month is so important because Buddha was born this month. So he achieved Buddhahood, and also I think he took a parinirvana. So this month is the very important month for Buddhists. So we celebrate for the Vesak for 1 month. So before we start the class, again I surely review how to practice Lamrim as usual. So within 1 day, when you wake up early morning, generate great motivation for becoming Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings, and make a commitment. I won't waste my energy, my time, my ability. I want to do the good thing as much as I can. Then, you woke up, then you must do 10 or 20 minutes, daily practice in the morning. So if you have a Buddha room, if you don't have, at least you must have a small altar. In the altar, you must have a Buddha statue or painting or thangka that set up all the offerings. If you don't have time, you just lit a light. Then remember the 6 preparations. Then you sit on the cushion most comfortably and think, so why I'm going to practice Dharma, for what reason? They should think I need to practice Dharma in order to free from samsara for myself, in order to benefit for others. That means you need to focus your 2 achievements. One is your own achievement, which is achieving the Dharmakaya. The Dharmakaya means eliminated all the defilements, ignorance, karma, and also in order to give benefit other, you must achieve Drupakaya. So in order to achieve the true achievement, then you need to think I must practice bodhicitta. I must practice Mahayana practices. Then simply you visualize the merit field according to your ability. If you are very busy, simply visualize Buddha Shakyamuni surrounded by Manjushri, Maitreya Buddha, and your gurus. At the center, you visualize Buddha Shakyamuni, and also you just imagine the Buddha Shakyamuni is a Buddha form of your guru. Your guru also manifests as a Buddha Shakyamuni. Then Buddha Shakyamuni is surrounded by all other lineage guru. Then you strongly, deeply, purely take refuge into Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. So when you take refuge into Buddha, you must remember the quality of the Buddha as well as Dharma and Sangha, and have a strong aspiration to achieve your own Buddha, your own Dharma, your own Sangha. Then slowly you visualize all sentient beings. Then when you look at the merit field, you have a strong aspiration to achieve Buddhahood, to become a Buddha, to generate bodhicitta, compassion, 6 pranjana paramitas. When you remember, when you visualize all sentient beings, then you generate great compassion. All sentient beings used to be your dear mother, so we don't remember in this lifetime, but all of them, very kind for us, very kind, very important, most important, like our dear mom. Then, when you look at the quality of Buddha, that you wish to achieve all these good qualities. When you look at all sentient beings, you must have a great compassion, great love, based on knowing the suffering of all sentient beings. Then you must think, I wish all sentient beings free from suffering, be Buddha. In order to do that, I must become Buddha. In order to become Buddha, I must first generate bodhicitta. Then you recite, any verses related to the bodhicitta. Then you must generate bodhicitta based on 7 cause and effect, or based on exchanging 7 other. After you fully generate bodhicitta, then you need to make a commitment, or you need to take a vows in front of the merit field, in front of the Buddha Shakyamuni. That means since today, until become a Buddhahood, I won't decline, not let decline my bodhicitta. So then next, in order to become Buddha, you need 2 very important practice. Practice of accumulating 2 types of merits. Virtuous merits and wisdom merits. In order to do that, then you need to practice 6 pranjana paramitas. So next, after you generate bodhicitta, first you practice the generosity, then ethical discipline, then patience, then joy effort, then meditative concentration, then wisdom. So within the 6 pranjana paramitas, the most important one, the wisdom, practice of wisdom. Whatever Buddha explained, introduce us, mainly focus for realizing the emptiness. In order to realize emptiness, then you need to go through all the practices. You must remember, we need to accumulate 2 types of merits, because we have a true achievement, which is Rupakaya and Dharmakaya. So the virtuous merit can be cause to achieve Rupakaya, which is Buddha body. The wisdom virtues, wisdom sublime virtues, mainly cause to achieve Dharmakaya. Dharmakaya has 2 types. One is the cessation of the Buddha and omniscient. The omniscient and the cessation of the Buddhas we call Dharmakaya. Then the body, we call Rupakaya. In order to achieve 2 of them, you need to practice, you need to accumulate 2 merits. In order to accumulate 2 merits, you need to practice 2 practices, which is methods and wisdom. So within 20 minutes you're able to practice the complete Lamrim. the symbol, you don't have a time to read the great Lamrim. You must read, foundation of all good qualities, or the song of the experience of Lama Tsongkhapa. So when you read the experience songs of Lama Tsongkhapa from beginning to end, it really explains the essence of Lamrim. So at the text, at the beginning, mainly salutation for the Buddha Shakyamuni, the Maitreya Buddha, Manjushri, Nagarjuna, all the way to Lama Selingpa and Adisha. Then next, explain about the small scope path, then middle, then 6 Parinjana Paramitas. So this is how you must practice Lamrim every day, your daily life. So as a Buddhist, we believe there were previous life, there will be next life. So whatever happened is happened. Most important, we need to think about our future life, our future of this life. In order to be happy, even though within this life, we need to practice Dharma. Within the practicing Dharma, great compassion is very important. If you always practice great compassion, you become very compassionate person. When you become compassionate person, then you become one of the nice, loving person within your family, within your friends, within your society, within your country. This is, very important benefit. Also, if always you practice great compassion, you eliminate, reduce the short temper and anger. So now you can see within family and society, the anger and short temper are very common cause to destroy the healthy relationship between your friends and family, husband and wife, parent and children, co-worker. Everybody must need a healthy relationship, healthy connection each other. This connection you can able to maintain based on practice compassion, love, tolerance. Then, when you're getting older, like 80 years, 85 years, 90 years old, then when you think about great compassion, it gives you a lot of energy, strength to be able to happy. And also it reduces depression, loneliness. This is the very important benefit for this lifetime. Then if you always practice, great compassion, bodhicitta, renunciation, emptiness, then moment of the death, you feel so happy, you feel so joy, because you can feel it. In this lifetime, I able to study Dharma, not only study, I able to practice all the practices, great compassion, renunciation, bodhicitta, that it give you a lot of, happy, enjoyment, excited to go to next life. Then, if you are able to die within the practice of great compassion, patience, love, bodhicitta, the next life, without any doubting, 100% you are able to born, higher realms, like a best human being, best celestial being. If you really wish to born in pure land, also great compassion, bodhicitta, practice of bodhicitta are the best practice, best cause to born in pure land. Then next life you have a happy life. If you have a next life happy life, then after next life also you have a happy and good life. Think about this moment. How many people just live around the TBC, next to TBC restaurant? How many people eating and drinking? Most of people, they never think about practice of Dharma. They very much focus on like money, name, power, this thing. This thing we must need, but those are not the important factor for be happy. Many people think, if I have a money, I will be very happy. If I have a if I have a power, I will be very happy. If I have a lot of, friends, then you think I am very, very happy. When you have a lot of money, then you're going to understand I'm not happy even though I have a lot of money. When you have a big house, also you're going to feel, yes, I have a big house, big car, but I'm not happy. Because we don't know how to control our negative thoughts. Also, we don't know how to be content with the simple thing. That's why about Buddhism teach us, the Buddha teaching teaches us, be simple, be happy. So if you are happy, then you are very much okay with the simple food, very simple clothes, very simple house. If you are not able to happy, if you don't have a happy mind, peaceful mind, all the external condition become useless for our life. That's why you can see many rich people, wealthy people have a lot of money, power, friends. They have everything. They are most of the powerful person. Those are the most of the rich person in Singapore. But when you stay with them for a few days, then you can feel I'm happier than them. Then you feel I'm lucky than them. They always focus about, the money, power. This is, not the healthy life. That's why, we must have a happy, healthy, simple life. In order to have these things, we must know how to control the desire, attachment, ego, jealous, these things. Those things we can reduce when you seriously seriously understand the Dharma. Top of that, if you're able to practice, then you can have a happy, healthy, simple life. Many people taking healthy food, organic food, right? Organic food is very expensive, but you wish to buy. Also, you are always trying to buy good food, healthy food, because you wish to have a healthy life. The healthy life cannot be come only eating healthy, organic food. Even though you can see somebody always eat simple food, not organic. Maybe the food have a lot of chemical, but the people able to have a happy life, they have a healthy life because they know how to control the negative thoughts. So that's why every time I always, urge all of you more, be serious about study Lamrim, be serious about practice, be serious of study Lamrim, practice Lamrim doesn't mean you have to change your lifestyle. I said many times, right? You can wear whatever you wish to wear. If you are happy with clothes, which is okay. Also food. If you are happy, any kind of food you can eat. Also big question, veg or non-veg is a big question. If you are able to be vegetarian, it's good for your health. Also it's good for your practice. If you are not able to be vegetarian, if you are not able to, stop drinking alcohol, still okay, must you practice Dharma. That's why in Buddhist society, sometimes many master or gurus give lot of rules and regulations. You should do this, you should not do this, you should not do. Then many youngster, Buddhist youngster, they are totally, give up practice of Dharma, study Dharma. That's why we must know how to practice, how to live our life. So this is I want to say beginning of the Lamrim class. Then I give you some very little homework, right? I hope everybody done the homework. So actually Can you open this? There is my glass. No, huh? Sonam, I think my glass somewhere. Huh? No, actually I have one not there. Then you can,
Go upstairs.
yeah, from the kitchen. Yeah, that's why. It's okay. I can, yeah. No, no, I cannot. It's too powerful. I can see Buddhahood. Okay, so I ask you to read about the 6 perfections. Okay, so you must know the link, the connection between first generated bodhicitta, right? The bodhicitta is the mind, very kind of strong aspiration to achieve Buddhahood. That's why when we say, I take refuge into Buddha, Dharma, Sangha until I become, right, to the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha. Look at, by my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. That means taking refuge is the kind of foundation. Then become a Buddha is your achievement. Then practice, 6 perfections are the main cause. That's why you must know only generated bodhicitta is not enough. You must practice 6 paramitas, 6 perfection. Okay, so I will ask question. So, you can answer. Okay, question number 1. The fixed number of perfections. Fixed number of perfection. Right? That means all the Bodhisattva deeds, all the Bodhisattva practices are included into 6 perfections. It's very clear. Actually, all Bodhisattva practices include into 6 perfect practice of 6 perfections. The 6 perfection practice you can include into 2 practices, which is methods and wisdom. That's why the method and wisdom practice include into practice of the true truth, the visional ultimate. That's why we in the reality there are 2 truths. Based on 2 truths, then you need to practice wisdom and methods. Based on practicing wisdom and methods, then you're going to achieve the true attainment, your own attainment for others, which is Rupakaya and Dharmakayas. Right? So the fixed number of, look at a discussion of the main topic, the fixed number of perfections. So how many subdivisions are there? Fixed number means, all the Bodhisattva practices include into 6 perfections. So we need to practice 6 perfection Based on what? So how many subdivision are there? How many different ways you can have a fixed number? 6. What's the number 1? Okay, high status. This means in order to achieve the high states, that means in order to achieve like a high, like a celestial being life, still you have to practice 6 perfections. What's the number 2? Fulfill the true aims. In order to fulfill the true aims, then there's a fixed number of perfections, right? Number 3. Yeah. In order to fulfill of other aims, then you need to practice 6 perfections. Number 4. So what does mean? All the Mahayana practice. If you want to practice all the Mahayana practices, you must practice 6 perfections. The 6 perfections subsume all the Mahayana practices. Number 5. Methods. In order to complete the path which is methods, the path on the path or methods, that means wisdom and methods, you must practice 6 perfections. What's the number 6? Yeah, 3 training. What are the 3 training? Yeah, training of ethical discipline, training of stabilization and wisdom. Right? That means if somebody say, if you feel I must practice 6 perfection, for what? In order to achieve high states, in order to fulfill true aims, in order to fill other aims. Right? That means there are 6 different ways you must. There's a fixed number of the perfections. So next, we thought, what is the generosity? What is the nature of generosity? Giving. So it is so important. You must know the definition of generosity. The meaning of generosity. Look at what is the nature of generosity? Question. It is the intention accompanying bodhisattvas distant, non-attachment to all their position and their body, and motivated by this. The physical, verbal action, giving the things to do, be given. This is the nature of generosity. How many divisions within the generosity? 3. What are they? Yeah, give of life, right? 3. So, okay. Then, without looking your Lamrim, how everyone should practice it, right? That you practice generosity, association with the 6 supremacies is so important. This is, all the Mahayana, when you practice any Mahayana practices, you must practice based on the 6 supremacies. Right? 6 supremacies is so important. What's the number 1? Super basis. Okay, without looking your Lamrim, can you tell me what does mean super basis? Supreme basis. Huh? You asked your question yesterday, huh? You know.
Motivated by enlightenment.
Okay, simply you can say, you cannot remember all the words. Simply say, because you are Mahayana practitioner, whatever you practice, even though when you give, like a food, like for the birds, for the dog, you must, in the basis, you must have the bodhicitta, right? Based on all the practices must motivated by bodhicitta. Clear? That means super, basis. For example, before you do prostration, you must generate bodhicitta. I'm going to do, 3-time prostration in order to achieve Buddhahood, to benefit all sentient beings. Then you recite the verses, taking refuge, Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. That means that time you have a 2 mental activities. You have a 2 types of mind. One fully focusing, achieving Buddhahood in order to benefit all sentient beings. Second, you fully focusing, taking refuge into Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Right? For example, when you buying medicine from hospital, like a pharmacist, that time you are giving money, you have a thought, I'm giving money, I'm buying medicine. In the deep down, I'm buying this for in order to cure, my illness. Super basis. Make sure any practices, okay, you must be done based on bodhicitta. That means the practice is very simple, but you can have a great merit. For example, when you lit the light, remember, I'm going to lit the light in order to benefit, in order to become Buddha, in order to benefit all sentient beings. That's why I'm leading the light to the merit field. Super basis. Number 2, supreme things. What does mean? What does mean supreme thing? Yeah. Supreme thing means there is generally you give all object that can be given. Then even when you are engaged in the specific act of generosity, you do not give up the thoughts of giving away everything. Number 2, supreme thing. Yeah. Number 3, supreme aim. What does mean? Yes, that means, the basis is bodhicitta. Then supreme thing means, when you practice generosity, the giving thing is the, like a supreme thing. When you give the things to others, you must give the things within the knowing, the practice, within the practice of 3 circles. Do you remember 3 circles? Right? Yeah, action, actor, then recipient, right? For example, when you giving things to other, you are the giver. The thing is the object to give. Then the recipient. You must remember me, the object, the recipient are nature of emptiness. When you think this way, then there's no attachment there's no attachment yourself, no attachment to things, no attachment to the recipient. Supreme M, when you what does mean Supreme M? So why you are giving, this thing? Why you are practice generosity? I have a M. What are the M? There are two M's. What are they? Immediate and ultimate. Temporal and ultimate. That's why another important, symbolically, somebody is very hungry, the person need a food. So you are giving a bread. When you give a bread to the beggar who need it, the immediate benefit what? Satisfy the hungry. The people feel happy. It's a temporal M. You are M. You are M, not the person M. The ultimate M. Becoming Buddha. Okay. This means two M's, okay? At the moment you wish a person be happy by receiving by food called whatever. In the long term you wish the person become a Buddha. Buddha. Right? How the person will become Buddha? How? How the dogs and cats will become Buddha? How? How?
Practice the human body and then they able to learn Dharma practice.
No. You should not think, just give a food, then the person or the animal happy, then slowly, next life he will take a rebirth, human rebirth, and then practice Dharma. No, should not think this way. For example, you are the, like a principal of the school. In the school there are, 100 babies. When the principal see the babies, what the principal think? Wish someone can be doctor, someone can be engineer, someone can be teacher, right? How? How the small baby can become doctor?
By leading them.
We must lead them. We must give a perfect education. Let me look at the main object. You want to become Buddha because now we don't have the ability to free all sentient being from suffering. We don't have ability all sentient being bring from samsara to nirvana. We don't have. When you become a Buddha, then you can have all the ability, energy and power. That's why at the moment wish to be happy. In the future I will bring the suffered human being or sentient being from samsara to Buddhahood. Okay, that means always you must focus 2 M's. 2 M for others, 2 M for yourself. Super M. The next one, number 4. Super skill in means. How super skill mean?
Conceptual, not
perceptual. Super skill mean. The skill is so. The skill, right? So important. Particularly when you practice Dharma, everything can be changed based on your mental skill. Clear? For example, in order to accumulate 3 eons merit, you don't have to give your everything. You can simply accumulate, the great merit, simply, using your perfect skill. That means, again, the practice wisdom with the bodhicitta. Practice bodhicitta with the wisdom. Any practices, when you practice generosity, you must practice generosity with the wisdom. That means based on knowing the emptiness of the object, subject, the benefactor. Then I hope remember how you can conjoin bodhicitta with the generosity with the bodhicitta. Conjoin that, hold together. That means before you practice generosity, if you make a reflection about emptiness of the giver, giving, recipient, then you are practicing wisdom. So you have the, mind which is realize emptiness. Within the knowing emptiness, when you practice generosity, the generosity is conjoined with the emptiness. Or bodhicitta, first you generate bodhicitta without losing the force of bodhicitta. When you engage in practice of generosity, the generosity, conjoined with the bodhicitta. Right? Skillful. Very important, skillful. That means, for example, there are two friends. One friend has a diamond. One friend has a very simple, petty stone. The friend who has a diamond, he wants to offer the big piece of diamond to the Buddha, or he wants to offer the big diamond for the Singapore government. As other friend has a simple stone, he wants to offer the stone to the Buddha. He wants to offer the stone to the Singapore government. Generally, people think, the people who offer the diamond, he accumulate a lot of merit. Other person who, offer simple stone, we think the person, doesn't accumulate a lot of merit. It depends on the skillful means. It depends on very much depend on your motivation. The people who offer diamond, he thought, I want to offer diamond, then I become very famous. I have a lot of name and fame. People have a lot of respect. Based on this motivation, if they offer diamond, the person, even though cannot accumulate merit, it accumulate very little. Very little. The person who offers stone, he offers stone based on, motivated by a great compassion, motivated by bodhicitta. The person accumulate a lot of merit. That's why skillful means, you should not have a attachment when you practice any kinds of 6 perfections. Then super dedication. How you can dedicate? Yeah.
From generosity to complete enlightenment.
Complete enlightenment. No, look at. There's no the lack of enlightenment. Super dedication means that you dedicate the virtues from generosity to complete enlightenment. That means the generosity is the beginning of the bodhisattva deeds, bodhisattva practice. Then complete enlightenment is the end. Whatever practice between generosity and all the way to enlightenment, you must dedicate to become a Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings. Next, supreme purity. What does mean? Cognitive obscuration. Right? Is when you stop both afflictive and cognitive obscuration. What does mean cognitive obscuration? Become omniscient? Afflictive emotion, we know afflictive means like a negative thought, attachment, desire, all of them afflictive. Obscuration means, obscure means what? Block, right? Block or, obstacle to seeing the true truth, simultaneously. Omniscient, I told you now, this is why Chandrakirti said, Dharmakirti said, I don't care, the person can see how many miles from here and there. The person who sees the true truth simultaneously, I respect to the person. Omniscient doesn't mean, the Buddha knows everything. Even though, somebody knows everything, they know everything. But if they don't know the true truth, the person cannot become, very special. That's why, final one, supreme purity is very important, most of the important. That's why I said many times, whatever you practice for purifying afflictive emotions, cognitive obscurations. Cognitive obscuration. Do you remember the analogy of cognitive obscuration? Do you remember the analogy? Garlic and smell garlic, right? So when you have a garlic in the cup, you can see the garlic, you can feel the smell. When you throw away the garlic is not there, still the smell is there, right? So even though the arhat, the person who achieve liberation, they fully eliminate afflictive emotions as well as ignorance, but they haven't eliminated the imprint of the mental imprint which is left by ignorance, attachment, desire, right? For example, in the Buddha lifetime, there was a few occasions, who the monk who already achieved arhatship, they are arhat. But sometimes, when they walk for the, begging food on the road, they have to walk very peacefully with the concentration. Sometimes suddenly, some arhat, just run and jump here and there. Because they eliminate attachment, desire, but they have a still tendency, mental imprint of running and jumping. Right? This means they eliminate even the root of the samsara, which is ignorance, but haven't eliminated the imprint of ignorance, attachment, desire. Right? So here, very important, small kind of notes for you. We should not mix up mental imprint, imprint of afflicted emotions and potential. Okay? Potential of afflictive emotions, mental imprint of afflicted emotion. We should not mix up two of them. The arhat, the person who fully achieve liberation, the person fully eliminate the potential of afflicted emotion. The person doesn't have any potential in their mind to arise attachment, anger, ignorance. No more potential, but still the imprint is still there. That means obscuration. So here purity, right? Purity means whatever you practice, please practice to reduce afflictive and obscuration. That means all your practice fully aim to eliminate afflictive emotions and obscuration. Okay? That means look, a simple practice become very important practice. Little light is simple, it costs $2, right? Even though we charge $2, because in order to accumulate more merit. Just $2. When we lit the light, we $2 very expensive. In the market, maybe $1. Right? We thought this way. When you drink coffee, how much does it cost? $5, $6, $7, right? You just spend $7, finish. You don't have us really stingy about spending $5. When as you lit the light, $2, you say, $2, $5 expensive. Even the simple leading light is very simple, easy, right? You just lead the light you offer. But that time you should think, emptiness of the light, emptiness of the person who lit the light. And the light, emptiness of the light is safe. You remember the emptiness of the, candle light. Remember the, great compassion, bodhicitta, generate bodhicitta, and try to realize emptiness of the light, just lit the light. Then practice of leading light become antidotes of the afflictive and obscuration. That means pure. Okay? That's why, you can see, practice of Dharma is very simple. Many people thought, in order to accumulate a lot of merit, we think we have to offer, a lot of things. If you could, which is good. If you cannot, most important, should not forget the 6 super bases. Again, number 1, super basis. Number 2, supreme thing. Number 3, supreme aim. Number 4, skill in mean. Number 5, supreme dedication. Number 6, supreme purity. Make sure whenever you practice, please practice based on 6 supremacies. Okay, another important. So when we study about the generosity, how to give, right? How not to give, how to give. So how not to give? Generally, when you practice generosity, you say you must give everything, right? Then not every time. Sometimes you must give something, certainly you should not give. So how not to give? So how many things there you should not give? 13. What is the number 7? Huh? What's the number 7? Okay. Again, must remember all the number 13s. Okay. So how to give? How to give? Yeah, right. How to give? There are how many? 4 gestures or 4 things. First of all, smile with being contents and then give to any recipient. Similarly, you should not say, hey, 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 hey. Yeah. It's so important. When you give something, give with the sense of, like smile, like very happy face. Happy face. Someday, someday you have to give something to your friend. You have to give, no choice. When you give with a very ugly face. That's why gives whatever you give with a happy face, smile. Number 2,
showing respect by speaking.
Yeah. That means showing respect. You must give by your own hands if you could. No. Yeah. Then number 3, appropriate of time. What does mean? What does mean? Right time mean? You can give any time, right? When you give money, you can give money any time. Why not? Yeah, every time look at the related to the money. For example, someone is very hungry, right? Hungry. You must know the person is very hungry. Then you must give a money to the hungry. But it's the right time to give a money. Then someday you can see the person not so hungry, still asking money. That means you should not give the money. The money will buy alcohol. Even though, Sangha, now most of Sangha, taking dinner. Sometimes in, the Sangha who not taking dinner, then sometimes they really feel hungry, but there are no money. you give up money, the Sangha will buy dinner. This is not the right time. Okay? So, actually, there's something is very interesting in our culture. When Sangha, I'm not criticizing, make sure I'm not criticizing. Sometimes when Sangha eating dinner, most people doesn't care much. In Thailand, Sri Lanka is very strict. All Sangha should not take dinner, should not take any food after 1 o'clock. Right? You must know the reason. At the Buddha lifetime, Buddha said, if you are sick, if you are really sick, you need to eat food, then you can eat food, it's okay. You can take a dinner. And if you are a very sick person, you are not okay, you are not allowed to take any types of, alcohol, right? Alcohol, or what you call toxin. Huh? Yeah, anyway, there's no any exception. Not only that, Buddha said very clearly in the sutra, if you consider me as your master, if I consider you as my disciple, you should not take alcohol. Actually, all Buddhists are not supposed to take alcohol. One is, related to the Indian culture. When Buddha gave a teaching, that time the Jainism, the Jain religion is already there. Jain. In Jain, there are so many rules, very strict. You should not drink any milk. You should not eat butter. You should not eat like potato, garlic, onion, which is grow underground. Right? That's why, and also that time, Buddha, of course, in the Jainism, alcohol is very, is very strict. So due to this culture, also Buddha said, you should not take any alcohol. The second, in the practical one, if we can say it's okay, you can drink alcohol, you should not drink until you drunk. How we can make a, limitation? How? How many spoon? How many cups? 1 spoon, okay. Then why not 2 spoons? 3 spoons? This cannot make a, boundary. That's why Buddha said, fully, prohibited to drink alcohol. But many Buddhist society, even though I think, in Vietnam, also I think many monks or, they're taking alcohol. But the society doesn't care much. And also in Tibetan society, most of the, not 100%, like 60 or 70%, monks and nuns, they are not vegetarian. They eat meat. But it's, different circumstances. So, that's why we must know what we should eat, what should not eat. Appropriate time. The number 4, without hunting anyone else, right? That means, you say, I'm practice generosity, and you must give the, good, compassion mind with a happy face. In order to show respect, you must give by your own hands, and you must give the thing on the right time, and also without harming anything. For example, husband has some money, wife doesn't have money. The wife really want to practice generosity. He just take money from husband, give to someone, is harm to the husband. Brother has some money, sister doesn't have, sister take money from brother, give it to someone, which is good, but is also harm to someone. Whatever you practice generosity, practice generosity without harming anybody. That means 4. Okay. So next class as a homework, everybody read more about patience. It's a lot of pages, right? You must read completely about the practice of patience. Okay, now we start new class, new lesson. Now we are studying about what? Joyous perseverance. Joy perseverance. Joy perseverance. So last time we studied the benefit of joy perseverance, right? Okay, at the beginning, page number 182, how to turn in the perfection of the joyous perseverance. He says, how many section? 5 section. What are they? Joy perseverance, how to practice, and summary. So everybody must remember, that 4 section. Again, definition of the joy perseverance, how to begin the practice of joy perseverance, the division, how to practice, as summary. Now, the definition. When you have focus upon something virtuous, joy perseverance is enthusiasm for it. This means the definition of joy perseverance. When you have focus upon something virtuous, right? That means effort and joy perseverance is different. Joy perseverance always need to focus on virtues. Focus on the virtues, then is enthusiasm for it. This is the definition of joy perseverance. How to begin? Without looking at your book, how to begin? Reflect upon the 2 things, right? Benefit of the practice of joy perseverance and false, disadvantage of the not practice joy perseverance. So what is the benefit of practice of joyously perseverance? What are the benefit? Clear away all suffering and darkness, freedom from miserable realms, and praised by all Buddhas. Yeah, there are so many benefits. So each time before you practice any kind of practice, you must reflect about benefiting and false. So the division of joy perseverance, how many division? 3. What are they? Gather virtues, joy perseverance for others, living being is very similar, right? Among the 3, the first is so important, or more the like joy perseverance. So, we everybody try to practice dharma, but we cannot have a lot of progress. So, first few days we practice dharma, we can see, little progress. After 2 days, we cannot see any progress because we don't have the first perseverance, which is or more like joy perseverance. Now we should study about or more like joy perseverance. When Bodhisattva was joyously persevere, period to actively engage themselves, They put on the armor of the preliminary enthusiastic through such as the 4 trillion set of their immeasurable great eons, each composed on the day as long as 1,000 great eon. Right? Now look at. So this means you should not worry about the time. Time, right? Time. Here look at 4 trillion set for 3 immeasurable great eon, each composed of day as long as 1,000 of great eon. What does it mean? The meaning? That means let's say one day composed of 1,000 great eon. One day equal to 1,000 great eon. Then 1,000 great eon finally become trillion. Right? Trillion set of 3 immeasurable great eon. That means actually say you should not feel tired. You should think, I will practice Dharma, I will practice bodhicitta until end of the samsara. Until of the end of the samsara. How long you will take to end of the samsara? How long? Trillions of years, right? That's why suddenly what you think, oh, I cannot practice bodhicitta. It's too long, right? It's too long. Next, look at, for the sake of relieving the suffering of the single living being, right? Relieving suffering of single living being. Even though, everybody already become Buddha, but one single living being still in samsara. In order to the single living being free from samsara, it takes millions of time. Still, you shouldn't be discouraged. That means you have very strong motivation. Next, we don't need to study the division. No. It's not really say it will take time. No. Because we have always become very discouraged. Because sometimes, it's time. For example, somebody asks you to do a retreat for 1 year. You think it's too long. Right? Somebody asks you to do a retreat for 3 days. For you, okay. Because the time is short. 1 year is too long. So, based on the duration, you become discouraged. That means you need to think. It doesn't mean you will take, trillions or years to become a Buddha. But you need to do the preparation. You have to be very prepared. Even though one day compose, 3 eons. That means you just mix. In your mind, you must think 1 day equal to 3 eons. Then today, how many eons? 6 eons, right? Then 10 days, 30 eons. If you think this kind of time, that means finally, even though, collecting all this time, it takes trillions of years to become a Buddha, I will practice bodhicitta. That means you are really having, strong kind of making commitment yourself to becoming Buddha, to benefit all sentient beings, even though single sentient being, just single sentient, in order to relieve, the single sentient being from samsara, still you are happy to remain in the samsara for trillions of years. That's why it gives you a lot of kind of, that's why the first Dalai Lama, I think, yes. So he was, I think, around 90 plus years old. He became quite old. Then I think before he passed away, I think he was quite sick. Then they are discussing about, passing away. Then some of the disciples say, oh, you are not need to worry, because after you pass away, you will go to Tushita land, in the pure land. You will go to Tushita with the Mitriya Buddha. Then second Dalai Lama said, I never have this kind of thought to go to pure land, to go to Tushita, with the Mitriya Buddha. I always wish to remain in samsara to benefit others. Right? That's why many people wish to born in the pure land. They have a little bit, they are mostly focusing on their kind of personal benefit. That's why many people become discouraged when they practice Dharma, because time is so long. So you need to prepare, doesn't matter how long you will take, I will practice. I want to make an effort. The next page, 185, I think before B, right, there's one paragraph. In short, the conclusion, if you can generate a single altitude such as this, you easily complete limitless accumulation and purifying measureless obscuration. Right? If you have this kind of motivation, simply, easily, you complete limitless accumulation, purifying measureless obscuration. That means, even though, just few moments, you should think, you should say, I will remain in samsara, I will remain in the hell realms for trillions of years to benefit a single sentient being. Within the few minutes, you complete, lot of merit, you eliminate lot of obscuration. Just the practice of Dharma is mainly, how to have a motivation, how to change your mind. Just that's it. That's why it's short, right? You can generate a single altitude such as this. You easily complete limitless accumulation and purifying measureless obscuration. Thus become the most excellent cause for never turning back. Right? If you have this kind of commitment, then you never become discouraged, you never turning back your practice. So now we should have a break. Then we study eliminating unfavorable condition that prevent joys. Okay, so next we study more about the joy perseverance. At the page number 186. The methods of developing joyous perseverance. As explained above, since you produce, maintain and increase all virtues of true collection in dependence upon joyous perseverance. Okay, make sure you must remember, produce virtues, the maintain the virtues, increase the virtues, and also true collections independent upon joy perseverance. So the practice they develop is very crucial. I shall discuss the system of the text of great scholar Adept Shantideva. That means make sure the benefit, right? So through practice of joy perseverance, you can produce virtues. You can continuously maintain the virtues. Also, you can increase the virtues. Also, you are able to collect, the two collections of merit, which is virtues and wisdom merit. So mostly he explained based on Shantideva text, engage in the Bodhisattva deeds. So this is how we must develop based on remember all the benefits. Now look at the methods developed joy perseverance has the 4 paths. To understand that as sustained in practice, the methods developing joy perseverance has the 4 paths. What are the 4 paths? What are they? Yeah, this means there's a 4 kind of paths. Number 1, eliminating unfavorable conditions that prevent joy perseverance. So this is a kind of obstacle to practice joy perseverance. So we have to eliminate the unfavorable condition that prevent the joy perseverance. Eliminating unfavorable condition that prevent joy perseverance has 2 parts. So how we eliminate the unfavorable condition? Yes, 2 parts. What are they?
Identifying factors incompatible with joy perseverance. Employing factors to eliminate the incompatible factors.
Yeah, so before we clarify the unfavorable condition, we must identify, right? Look at, there are 2 factors incompatible with entering the paths. So this is a very obstacle to practice, not able to practice the joy perseverance. Number 1, not entering, even though you see that you can do the practice. I think everybody has a problem. We can see, we can practice, for example, compassion, love, kindness, Buddhism. We can see, we can practice, but we, don't practice. So not entering, even though you see that you can do the practice. This is one of the big, great incompatible with the joy perseverance. Number 2, not entering because you become discouraged, thinking, how can I do such as practice? Indeed, there is also not practicing because you are unconcerned with whether you are capable or not. But this is irrelevant here, since this explanation of the pursuing the liberation. That means there's mainly 2 obstacles. One is you can practice, you can see that you can do practice, but you are not really entering, you are not practicing the joy perseverance. You are not practicing Lamrim Bodhicitta. Number 2, not entering because you become discouraged. How become discouraged? Thinking, how can I do such a practice? Right? This is another kind of obstacle to practice the Dharma. Then somebody doesn't have any kind of concern. Somebody no practice Dharma because they don't have any concern. They don't have any thoughts to practice. This is irrelevant. So no need to explain. Now how we can overcome the 2 problems? Within the first factor, there are 2 possibilities. Right? Within the first factor, there are 2 possibilities. What is the first factor? No. Not entering even though you see that you can do practice. This is one, right? So even though you are not practicing Dharma, even though you can see you can do, but still you are not practicing. So what's the problem? That means he has 2 possibilities. Number 1, you have laziness of the prosecution thinking. That means you are delaying the time, right? You are postpone the time. There's still time, and Number 2, you are not procrastinating, but you are overwhelmed by your attachment to the inferior and common activities. In this even engaged, right? There's been two possibility because you are not entering the practice of bodhicitta, practice of six parijnana paramita, practice of mainly emptiness bodhicitta, because there's a two possibility. One, you have laziness of procrastination, thinking, right? Thinking there's still time. Because you can see, for example, right now everybody able to see, I can practice great compassion. I can practice, bodhicitta. I can practice everything, right? Everybody can see, but you are not serious about, because many people think, I will practice the Dharma after I am fully retired. Somebody think, I still have energy to, do lot of things. I'm right now very busy. I want to practice Dharma when I'm not busy. You think there's enough, just still you have a time to practice Dharma. Right? Am I right? So most of you think I will practice Dharma when I'm retired. Some of you think I'm already retired, but I have to do so many things. So you are not practicing Dharma. Second one, you are not procrastinating, but you are overwhelmed by your attachment to inferior common activities. Right? Also, most of us are like that. Then Shanti Deva said, look at the factor incompatible with joy perseverance are said to be laziness, entering to what is ignoble and self-contempt out of the discouragement. So that means here we must remember, impermanence. Next, look at laziness arises from the craving based upon the indolence, enjoyment, pleasure, and sleep. Right? So how we have lazy mind? How the lazy mind arises? That means craving based upon the indolence. What does mean indolence? Based on English word. Indulge. Yeah, indulge. That means you have a strong tendency to do something often, again and again. That's why you become lazy when you practice Dharma. Also, you not able to practice Dharma because you have an attachment, you have an enjoyment of the pleasure and sleep. For example, somebody want to practice Dharma. For example, Saturday, Sunday is a kind of holiday. But in the morning, people should think, I want to practice Dharma. They say, no. I go for walking in the morning walk. I have to meet my friend, have a coffee in something. That means you have a strong attachment, enjoyment of the pleasure. Then sleep. Right? Also, when you practice Dharma, suddenly you feel sleepy. Right? Sleepy, those are the main cause to have a lazy mind to practice of Dharma. So how we can overcome? Right? This means employing the methods of eliminating the incompatible factor. So how we overcome this kind of lazy mind? Number 1, number 2, activity. Number 3, right? So we have the lazy mind. We must first we think there's a still time. So we must stop the laziness of the procrastination. Number 2, we must stop attachment to the ignoble activities, which is the samsaric activities. Number 3, stop discouragement or self-contempt. Right? What does mean self-content? Based on English word. Self-content. Yeah, that's why I think in Tibetan it's a bit different. Lelo hiewegyu. So, chiru odo. Chiru yelo, nebo sum chiru yelo goba. Luto bodo nyudan jibo. Lelo hiewegyu ne nyomle dang. Dewa mrula chaba. Nigi dewa chaba. Kowa la gyoshe mepa. Yeah, self-content means you don't have a sense of renunciation. Is it renounce? You don't have a sense of renunciation because you become discouraged. Man, because you don't have a strong aspiration to practice Dharma. Number one, how we stop the laziness of the procrastination. This involves the following three meditation. What are the three meditation? You contemplate that the body you have a present is repeatedly disintegrating. That means remember impermanence, remember the death. Number one, you should not think there is still time because remember impermanence, remember the death. That after death you will fall into the miserable realms and that it will be difficult to find excellent life such as this one again. Meditation on this stop laziness. That means you remember impermanence, death. After death, then you're going to go miserable realms. That's why meditation on this stop the laziness, they hold on the notion that there's a plenty of time. Right? That's why we never know, with everybody, of course we wish to have a happy life, a long life, but there's no really guarantee. There's no certain, we everybody able to wake up tomorrow morning. Right? That's why at the beginning, we must make a final decision. I want to practice Dharma. Make a final decision. Not only just I want to practice Dharma, must think I want to practice Dharma now. You should not, postpone your time. Want to practice Dharma, practice now continuously. If you have this kind of mind, then you never, postpone the time for practice Dharma. The three meditations were explained earlier in the section of the person of small capacity. Right? That means impermanence, death. After death, you fall into miserable realms. If you remember three of things, particularly you remember impermanence and death, then you never think there's still time. Still time. So in order to remember the impermanence and death, also in order to stop the mind which is thinking there's still time, then you just remember how many your friend, close friend passed away last year, last month, this week. Someone more younger than you, they also has gone. Someone is more healthier than you, they also has gone. Right? That's why we totally stop the lazy mind which is thinking there's still time. Then suddenly you remember to practice Dharma. Attachment to the ignoble activities. That means noble activity, ignoble activities, samsaric activities. You see the sublime teaching is the source of endless joy in this and future life. So in order to practice seriously Dharma, you must remember the benefit of the practice of Dharma, practice of teaching. Source of endless joy in this and future life. Why you are so busy with the ignoble activities? You must be busy with the Dharma's activities because the Dharma is the source of endless joy in this life and next life. That means you have two options. For example, so today is Saturday, tomorrow is Sunday. In the morning, you got two options. Option number 1, study Lamrim. Option number 2, go for a picnic. Right, two options. Which one you must choose? Which one? Picnic. Even rainy, I think everybody bring umbrella and go picnic. Anyway, look at two options. When there's a two option, many people, I'm not saying in this class, if there's two option, attending teaching, going picnic, many people prefer to go picnic. They thought I can attend class next time. Picnic is only one time. Then why the people, the person choose to go for picnic, not for study Lamrim? Why? Because they thought, of course if I go for picnic, I will be very enjoy. I will be very happy with my friends and family, playing. You feel you remember all the happiness. How long the happiness you can have? Just one day. After over the picnic, all the happiness has finished, right? So that's why saying, when you have a two option for doing picnic, samsaric activity, option for study Dharma, you must choose the study Dharma and practice Dharma, because it is the source of endless joy. You can be happy this life, you can be happy next life. That's why you must choose the practice of Dharma. If you think this, and also stop the attachment to the ignoble activities. Also, when we think about the happiness and joy, is the physical happiness. Okay, most time we have the memory or the remember in our. We can, for example, yesterday, somebody has a big dinner with your friends and family. Big dinner, beautiful environment, very variety of food. That moment you were really enjoying the physical happiness, because you taste the food, you can see the color and shape. You're really happy. That time you have two types of happiness. One, the physical happiness. Second is the mental happiness. So this morning when you woke up, right, both happiness has gone. Just you have the memory, right? Memory. Oh, I have a wonderful dinner. I met this and that person. You have just memory. If you generate great compassion yesterday, last night. If you have a great compassion, practice Dharma, still you have the joy, the sense of happiness. Still you have still the happiness within you today. That's why you can see the big difference of having happiness based on ignoble noble activities, happiness with the practice of Dharma. So if you reflect, practice of Dharma also, practice of Dharma is the source of, endless joy, then you reduce the attachment to the ignoble activities. Then C, stopping discouragement or self-contentment. Self-contempt or contempt. Thank you. Gilubam dani never self-contempt. Oh yeah. Dani never they chishol na chawang bakanda me michoki. Stopping the discouragement or self-contempt. It is not enough just to delight in the sublime teaching after you have stopped your procrastination and your attachment to ignoble activity. You must stand as a Mahayana practitioner. Therefore, if you become discouraged, thinking someone like me is unable to practice that, you must eliminate this discouragement. Stopping discouragement of the self-contempt has three parts. That's why many people has self-contempt mean I cannot do, right? I cannot do. I cannot practice. I cannot understand emptiness. So if you really think, if we think I cannot practice bodhicitta, I cannot practice emptiness, I cannot do any practice, that means you are putting yourself in the low energy. So in order to overcome this problem, the simple one in our lifetime, just remember, all the high practitioners, all the famous masters in our lifetime. Or you must remember the 14th Dalai Lama. He was just born in the simple family in village. When he was boy, I think he was almost same as we. He need to learn all the alphabet. He need to learn all the prefix and suffix. He was same. He's nothing really special. He know everything. Not like that. He learn everything step by step. Now he become, one of the very high practitioner. He fully generated bodhicitta. He fully realized emptiness. Then why not? He could able to do why we cannot. Because he able to do it because he put enough effort, energy, time. If we give enough time, give enough effort, we definitely able to realize emptiness, able to practice bodhicitta. That's why also just thinking about Buddha Shakyamuni. When he was born, he was just, in the story, in the story you can see so many interesting, beautiful story. We are not sure all of them truth or not. When he was born, I think he was just simply ordinary boy. Also history, in history telling Buddha was born under the, what you call, arm? Not, I don't think, he really born from here, from the rib. I think he was born as an ordinary being, ordinary way. Then he, when he was young, he has so many difficulties, problem, lot of suffering, lot of difficulties. Then finally he able to realize, Four Noble Truths, emptiness, become Buddha. Why not we? If we think this way, then we cannot have any discouragement about practice of Dharma. Here's three paths. Stopping discouragement about the goal. Number 2, means to attain the goal. Yeah, that's why, we think I cannot practice because the goal is so difficult to achieve. Sometimes we think I cannot practice because the means is so difficult to, accomplish. Sometimes we thought I cannot practice because, the place is not in a right time, right place to practice Dharma. That's when most people think I cannot practice Dharma because Buddhahood is so difficult to achieve. I cannot practice because the bodhicitta, emptiness, 6 paramita is so difficult to practice. Then, I cannot practice because I am very busy, I don't have enough condition. That's why we always become, discouragement about the practice of Dharma. So what is the goal? The Klam, right? If the goal is Buddhahood, now explain that Buddhahood, the total elimination of all faults and total completion of all good qualities, then since it is extremely difficult for me to accomplish even a few good qualities or remove even the few faults, how could someone like me be, capable to attain such as a result? So Buddhahood is, complete elimination, complete achievement. Then when based on our own experience, we think, even though I have a small problem, I cannot overcome the small problem. How I can overcome all the problems? Right? We think that way. Oh, I want to learn this and that, but I cannot learn. It's so difficult to learn little thing. How I can, accomplish all the good qualities. That's why we think, achieving, becoming Buddha, achieving Buddhahood is so difficult because the goal is so difficult. That's why you have a discouragement to practice Lamrim Dharma Bodhicitta goal. Now how we should overcome? If such as a sense of discouragement manifests, it is very great fault because it constitutes giving up the spirit of enlightenment. Even if such a thought does not fully manifest, you must stop it at the incipient stage. If you are Bodhisattva, even though if you are not fully Bodhisattva, you almost, generate bodhicitta. If you have this kind of thoughts, which thoughts, I cannot practice bodhicitta, right? Discouragement manifests, it is very grateful because it constitutes give up the spiritual enlightenment. If you think Buddhahood is so difficult to achieve, I cannot achieve Buddhahood, that means suddenly, you give up the practice of bodhicitta. It's quite dangerous. That's why you always think, I can achieve Buddhahood. Yes, the Buddhahood is so difficult to achieve, but I will achieve. I will put, effort as much as I can. So there's three kinds of discouragement about the goal, about the means, about the place. So we can stop here. The next, I think we should have a little question and answer. So my idea, before Vesak, I will wish to finish the chapter 7 and 8. What chapter? This chapter, I wish to finish the meditative concentration and the wisdom, not the wisdom, the big chapter. So before Vesa, we must have a basic knowledge about meditative concentration. This means shamatha and special insight. So when we study wisdom chapter, I think it will take almost more than 1 year to finish because we have only one class a week. So you really need to prepare. You should think the chapter will be very difficult. It mainly teaching about the Madhyamaka school, mainly class about emptiness. So I give you just basic information. The chapter has a few sections. Section number 1 mainly emphasize the point of view from I think some of the ancient Tibetan Buddhists, like even though Nyingma and Kagyu, there's some kind of misunderstanding about emptiness. Second, refuting all the misconception about emptiness. Then he, put his own view about emptiness based on all the masters. Third, in order to realize emptiness, then mostly introduce what is the object what is the object to refuse to realize emptiness? Then very in detail explain the two Madhyamaka schools, particularly very much emphasize about the consequent schools. So if you study, the complete the wisdom chapter, then you will have a quite good knowledge about Madhyamaka school. You will have a good knowledge about what is the wrong view about emptiness, how I can realize emptiness, what does mean emptiness, why is so important to realize emptiness. Mainly tell you how to realize. Okay, because most of you very new about Madhyamaka school, that's why you will have a bit difficult to understand. So, everybody must prepare. So when we have this class about wisdom, I'll give you a lot of homework. Everybody have to be very serious. If you are not serious, then I will just, jump 10 pages, 20 pages, 30 pages, they finish within few months. If you are very serious, I will go most precisely in detail. It depends on you, right? So, this I want to say. Any question, answer? Question, any question? No question? Then you fully understand, huh? No question? Okay, so if you have no question, I will ask few questions related to the two practices. Because we already learned practice of wisdom and methods, right? Based on Lamrim, after you took a vows, that you need to practice methods and wisdom. Why we need to practice wisdom, not only enough to practice bodhicitta? Why is not just enough to practice bodhicitta? Huh? Yeah. Why we need to practice wisdom, not just enough only practice bodhicitta? Huh? Okay, so generally, in order to, if you only practice methods, not practicing wisdom, the simple one, generally, you don't know how to practice. This is also one reason. Secondly, wisdom has a many, levels. Wisdom of knowing impermanence, wisdom of knowing the right path. Here mainly talking about wisdom which is realize the emptiness or selflessness. If you only generate bodhicitta, you become bodhisattva, you become very, happy person, good person, loving person, but still you are not able to overcome from afflict emotions. Right? That means you are very, good heart person. Still, you cannot reduce attachment, desire, ignorance. That means you can be free from anger, but you cannot be free from attachment, ignorance. If you only practice wisdom, which is realize emptiness, you can be free from attachment, desire, ignorance, but you cannot be, kind and good person. That's why you have to practice both wisdom and methods. That's why I explained early, in the class, two truths, then wisdom methods, practice of wisdom methods, then there's a two kaya, dharmakaya and nirmanakaya. So when you practice two practices, the wisdom practice mainly about your own achievement, which is dharmakaya. Practice of great compassion, bodhicitta, is mainly for others. Because you wish to achieve true attainment, your own achievement for others. Right? That's why Lamrim mentioned, even though you achieve liberation, you achieve arhatship, even though you haven't achieved your own achievement, you haven't achieved other achievement. Because you haven't achieved your own achievement, because you haven't eliminated the obscuration. You haven't achieved other because you haven't achieved the rupakaya. That's why you must know, you must practice the two truths. All the practices from beginning on rely on the master and of the liberation, Buddhahood. All practices you must practice compoundly, together. Okay, you should not practice one by one. You must practice. You must compound all the practices within same time, one time. Then you spend, like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, but the practice becomes very powerful. So that's why you must know why we need to practice two truths. Okay, do you remember when we talk about the visualization, that we talk two lineages, two lineage guru. What are they? Lineage guru, two lineage gurus, Mitra Buddha and Manjushri. Yes, wisdom methods, right? So, who is the profound lineage guru? Who is the vast lineage guru? Manjushri. The vast lineage guru is the Mitra Buddha. What we call profound, what we call vast. So generally, at the Buddha lifetime, there are so many Bodhisattvas. Mainly Manjushri become, the lineage holder of the profound teaching, mainly about instruction, about emptiness. Because profound, emptiness is so difficult to understand, is so profound and deep. Second, all other practices without emptiness, we call vas, because there are so many types of practices. Vas, like a six pranjana paramita, so and so. This is called profound and vas. So, when you think about the emptiness and the vast practices, you think, emptiness is more difficult to understand. Yes, I said a few times, when you hear emptiness, for you look like so difficult to understand. When you listen the teaching about emptiness, is for you like so difficult to understand, right? When you listen teaching about great compassion, bodhicitta, six pranjana paramitas, anything for you feel quite easy, right? Easy, yes. When you listen teaching about the vast teaching, a bit feel easy to understand, easy to practice. In the practical level, when you really practice bodhicitta, great compassion, is so difficult to practice. Practical level, when you try to realize emptiness, at the beginning you thought it's so difficult to understand. If you really put effort, If you really try to realize emptiness, you easily you can realize emptiness. Okay? When you hear, feel difficult. When you try to realize, easy to realize. Bodhicitta, great compassion, when you hear, for you feel easy. But when you practice, it's difficult. How? Why? When you realize emptiness one time, then you realize, right? You no need to worry to decline. No need to worry by destroyed by anger. When you realize, you just follow the truth, you realize, you know the nature is like that. Even though this morning you generate great compassion, later afternoon you met, very difficult person, then great compassion has gone. Right? That's why so difficult to practice great compassion. Every step you can see very strange person. All of them cause to decline your great compassion. That's why we have two gurus, lineage guru, profound and the vast teaching. So when you visualize the married field, you must visualize two of them. Because the Mahayana practice of combination between wisdom, profound and vast teaching. That's why we need to visualize. We must visualize the two gurus.
So what's the result of very, very good practitioner practice solely on methods? What's the result of their attainment?
Result. Yeah, the wisdom through practice of wisdom, you're going to achieve dharmakaya.
They are very good practitioners, they are very hardworking, but they do not know how to practice
Emptiness.
So what is the result of this kind of practice?
Then the person, if the person only practice bodhicitta, they don't know how to practice emptiness. The person can be very nice, heart, good, kind person, loving person, but they don't know how to overcome all the afflictive emotions. Still the person can go under the afflictive emotion. Do you remember? Until now, we controlled by afflictive emotion. Afflictive emotion controlled by. Do you remember why we need to practice meditation? Remember? We controlled by mind. The mind controlled by afflictive and obscuration. Look at the mind look like the leech. Dog need a leech. The mind look like leech. That means the ignorance look like king. All the afflictive emotions look like the rope, the mind. So we look like dog, right? So ignorance is the king, and the mind is look like all the afflictive emotions look like a helper. The mind is look like a rope. We look like dog. So until now, we follow the mind. Mind follow the afflictive emotion and obscuration. That's why we have the problem. Right? The person who only practice bodhicitta, they cannot overcome emotion. The person cannot be free from the mental defilement. That's why we have practiced two of them. Okay, so we stop here, then we do the dedication prayers.